Hi everyone, welcome back. No, I only just noticed because I'm doing this thing one after the other. I kind of lost track of my session numbers. Now, this is actually session 22, is because I had a session 19 typed up before, and then I cleared it off, but didn't notice I didn't delete it. So I was actually counted all my sessions plus one, right? So basically, I call the last two sessions or last three sessions 20, 21, 22, but really they were 19, 20, 21, right? So this here is the real session 22 here now, right? So we on to the 22nd session, and we are going to do just one example of using vertex one to sketch a quadratic curve. If we can fit a second one, we'll do it, right? So let's go with the example now. Again, you notice this is the third video, right? So if you are unclear as to what I'm doing here, go back to the other videos and you will see a little bit more. So let's go with sketch the curve of, right? So let's sketch a curve of, or sketch a curve with equation, and ideally that's the actual wording for it. All right, so sketch a curve with equation y is equal to, let's go with -3 into x plus 2 squared. Um, let's see what's in next we could use here. Plus. Good. So we want to go with this here. So let's see how we're going to sketch the curve of this here now. Now this is it's still not the hardest one, but there are some little bit harder ones. Now again, you all know how to get to this point by completing the square. We will talk about the other techniques in the next video, but to get to this point, you'll be using completing the square. So our solution. So the first thing that we want to get from this here is the nature of the curve. So first thing is the nature. Since now if we identify h and k from this here, a is equal to -3, h is equal to 2, and k is equal to 12, right? So since a is negative, right, this symbol dash ve means negative. Since a is negative, the graph has a maximum point, right? The graph has a maximum point. So the graph looks like this here, a maximum point, a highest point. Yeah. So that's what we call. So that's the first one there. Second one is the coordinates of the vertex. So the coordinates of the vertex, right? And the vertex is in this case your maximum point. The coordinates of the maximum point, the formula for that is minus hk. All right, now let me change this number. Let me change this number to -2. All right, so minus hk is negative h means -2. All right, so basically negative h means do what 2 is to the opposite of that in this case. The opposite of -2 is +2, and k is 12. Yeah, so that's the coordinates of the vertex. The third one now is your y-intercept. So remember from the last couple of videos, the y-intercept is on the y-axis. So the y-intercept occurs at x is equal to 0. So what we do is we let x be equal to 0 in this original equation. So what we end up getting is y is equal to -3 into 0 minus 2 squared plus 12. So this becomes -3 into -2 squared is 4, yeah, and plus 12 is, well, just plus 12, and this will end up giving us -12 plus 12 is 0. So therefore the y-intercept is 0, and the coordinates of the y-intercept will be 0, 0, right? So what this means is that the graph passes through the origin. Now this is a nice question. I actually didn't think that would turn out to be this, but it's a good thing that we end up doing this one here. Right, that's number 3. Now number 4. All right, I'm gonna do number 4 here. Actually, no, we can stick with it here. Number 4. We want to find the roots. Right, now remember where the roots of the equation is, right? The roots are where the graph passes through the, sorry, it's a maximum point. Where the graph passes through the x-axis, these are the roots. And remember, the roots occur at y is equal to 0. So the roots occur at y is equal to 0. So you take this whole equation and you let y be equal to 0. So we let y be equal to 0. So what we'll end up with here is negative 3 into x minus 2 squared plus 12 is equal to 0. Right, and now it's just for us to solve this here. Very easy. So, first of all, to get to the x inside here, we transpose the 12, which means that to subtract 12 from both sides, 0 minus 12 is minus 12. Now, this is multiplied by 3. To get rid of this 3, you divide by minus 3, because it's a minus 3 here. So it's x minus 2 squared is negative 12 divided by minus 3 is positive 4. Now, I would have showed all this something in the last class. You have to take the square root of both sides. When you take the square root of this side, it cancels off with the square, right? So that will give you x minus 2. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the next side. But when you take the square root of a number, you have to take two values because this is two possible answers here. Negative 2 by negative 2 is 4. Positive 2 by positive 2 is 4. So x is equal to x minus 2 is equal to plus or minus 2. So what this will give us is that the values of x are, when we transpose the negative 2, it becomes 2 plus or minus 2. Now what does this mean? As we explained in the last one, remember, typically a quadratic graph has two roots. Not all the time, but generally speaking, a quadratic graph has two roots, like this. So let's see what the roots are. The first root is 2 plus 2, that's this first number here, which will give us 4. And our second root is 2 minus 2, which is 0. And that is consistent with this actually, and see why in a little bit. So therefore, the roots are x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 0. So these are your two roots. You don't have to be in any order. We usually put the smaller one first. Yeah. So now we have to proceed to sketch our curve now. Remember what I explained to you all last class. To draw the graph, you want to see what type of values you have. So 0 and 4. So you don't need the whole graph, but I am just going to use the whole graph here. Right? You put in 0. Right? So now you don't put in anything else right now. Good. You know one root is here at 0 and the other one is somewhere out here. So you know the graph looks something like this here. Now you have to figure out where is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is at 0 as well. So that's fine. And then your maximum point and minimum point is 212. So basically you could just sketch this graph here. Right? So let's see. It is a maximum point graph. Oops. Let's sketch from here. Go. Right, maximum point graph, and it'll come back down here. Right now, again, my skills on this tablet is not perfect, it's far from perfect, right? But your graph in your book could be a lot better than how my graph looks here. Yeah, so this here is your quadratic curve, right? I don't want to, in your graphs, please don't use any extra lines like how I'm doing it here, right? The teachers could see it. And please let this be a smooth curve. This is the one downside of using this tablet. I can't get the curve straight, but I will learn eventually. So 0 is your first root and 4 is your second root. Yeah. Our maximum point, our highest point is here. That's 212. X is 2, which is between 0 and 4. And y is 12, right? You put in your y-axis label, your x-axis label. You label this point here, 2, 12. You could also label your roots as well, 4, 0, and 0, 0. Yeah, and your y-intercept is also 0. So this is your entire sketch of this graph, right? So you need to be very, very careful how we plotting these graphs. Right, so this is your quadratic curve and how we plot the quadratic curve, right? Don't let these questions scare you. They are very easy and you all could get through it. Right now, as with everything else, you will get a worksheet on this topic. Or at least it will be in the big worksheet. I'll make one big worksheet with 20 how much ever different sections, and each section will refer to a particular session. So for this particular session, you will look for the questions for session number 22. Good. So that's it for this session. If you have any comments, if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as I could. Right. So that is it for this session. In the next session, we will be doing some of these some of the random topics that I talked about in the last one that I didn't get to cover, like difference of two squares, how to use factorization to find roots, the finding the completing the perfect square or writing in the form e into x plus a squared plus k using a formula and also the quadratic formula, right? Those are the last four things that we have to do. Yeah. So with that being said, that is it for this session, and I will see you all in the following videos. Hopefully, just about 3 or 4 more videos to complete the entire series. Right. So that's it. Thank you all for staying on for so long. Please like and share the video if you think that it helped you and if it could help anyone else. And till the next video, take care, everyone. Stay safe.